Tonight's headlines: United States Vice President pays courtesy call on Marcos. Attacks against Philippines in South China Sea will invoke U.S. mutual defense commitments. Philippines marks third week of less than 10,000 COVID-19 cases. COVID-19's consequences to students enormous, says Vice President Sara Duterte. ITCZ and shear line to bring rains. Pump price rollback set Tuesday. And PSEi snaps rally ahead of key data releases. Good evening. Today is Monday, November 21, 2022. I am Elmer Navarro Manuel, and this is Tribune News on Q. Here are the stories for this evening. United States Vice President Kamala Harris on Monday arrived at Malacanang for her courtesy call on President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. Before her scheduled meeting with Marcos, Harris, the first woman and first woman of color to become U.S. Vice President, met with her Philippine counterpart, Vice President Sara Duterte. During their meeting, Harris told Marcos that any attack made against Philippine forces in the South China Sea would invoke the U.S.'s mutual defense promises. The two leaders also shared light moments during their talk. Marcos said he is very delighted to welcome the American leader in the Philippines. Attacks made against Philippine forces in the South China Sea will invoke the United States mutual defense promises, a commitment made by Vice President Kamala Harris during her courtesy call on President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. on Monday. Harris described the relations between Manila and Washington as based on mutual concerns about security for the region. She stressed that the basis of the ties between the two countries was mutual commitments to international rules and norms. Harris further told Marcos that it is under his leadership that the relations would continue to be strengthened, and they are looking forward to working with the Marcos administration on issues. The president, for his part, emphasized that the partnership with the U.S. has become more important, saying that Harris's visit in the Philippines is a strong symbol that the ties remain strong. The Department of Health disclosed that the Philippines registered 8,004 new COVID-19 infections from November 14 to November 20, 2022. It was the third consecutive week that the DOH logged fewer than 10,000 new cases. Based on the DOH's weekly bulletin, the daily case average for the recent week was 1,143, 12% lower than the 1,296 infections monitored from November 7 to November 13. Latest data from the agency also showed a total of 93 additional verified COVID-19 related deaths belatedly reported in the past week. These deaths were logged from September 2020 until November this year. The agency added that 568 severe and critical cases have been admitted in hospitals due to COVID-19 as of November 20. Of the 2,358 intensive care unit beds for coronavirus patients, 493 or 20.9% were occupied. 4,796 or 23.1% of the 20,754 non-ICU COVID-19 beds, meanwhile, are currently in use. Tribune News on Q will be back after these reminders.
Mga impormasyong direktang makukuha mula sa sources at diretsahang usapan. Yan ang atid namin sa inyo sa programang Straight Talk. Samahan nyo kami sa makabuluhang talakayan live tuwing Martes alas 10 ng umaga sa official Facebook page ng Daily Tribune at Tribune Now on YouTube. Be updated sa news and happenings katribu. Hatid ng Daily Tribune sa inyo ang mga balitang napapanahon sa loob at labas ng bansa. Kami na ang bahala sa paghahatid sa inyo ng mga latest and reliable news. We got you covered sa programang Tribune News on Q. Mapapanood mula umaga hanggang gabi, Lunes hanggang Biyernes sa Daily Tribune Facebook page at Tribune Now on YouTube.
In other news, Vice President and Education Secretary Sara Duterte gave a glimpse to United States Vice President Kamala Harris on how the Filipino students' shift to distance learning due to the COVID-19 pandemic has greatly affected their education. Information provided by the Office of the Vice President said that the two female leaders discussed education-related issues during their bilateral meeting at the Aguado House earlier in the day. Duterte then shared that the COVID-19 pandemic's negative impact on the education of Filipino children was enormous, adding that the sudden shift to remote learning modes resulted in learning losses, specifically among younger children. The Philippines was earlier tagged as among the countries with the highest rates of learning poverty in East Asia and the Pacific, as the World Bank found that 9 out of 10 Filipino children struggle to read simple text by age 10. State Weather Bureau Pagasa announced that the Intertropical Convergence Zone and shear line may bring scattered rain showers across parts of Luzon. Cloudy skies with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms may prevail over the Bicol region and the provinces of Palawan, Quezon, Aurora, Isabela, and Cagayan due to the ITCZ and the shear line. Metro Manila and the rest of the country, meanwhile, may experience partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated rain showers or thunderstorms caused by the ITCZ and localized thunderstorms. Winds over northern Luzon would be moderate to strong to be accompanied by moderate to rough waters. Light to moderate winds, meanwhile, may be experienced over the country with slight to moderate coastal waters. In business, motorists will have a slight reprieve this week as oil firms announce a rollback. In separate advisories, Pilipinas Shell and Seoul said they will cut down the price per liter of gasoline by 40 cents, diesel by 2 pesos and 15 cents, and kerosene by 2 pesos and 10 cents. Petrogas, PTT Philippines, and Clean Fuel, meanwhile, will implement the same changes except on kerosene, which they do not carry. The changes will take effect at 6 a.m. on Tuesday, November 22, except for Clean Fuel, which will implement the adjustments at 12:01 a.m. And the main stocks index closed lower on Monday ahead of the shortened week for the Wall Street, but the peso managed to end the day sideways against the United States dollar. The Philippine Stock Exchange Index shed 0.53% or 34.14 points to 6,403.24 at the closing bell. The broader all shares followed with a drop of 0.31% or 10.67 points to 3,385.96. Regina Capital Development Corporation Head of Sales Luis Limlingan said that Philippine shares took a breather after successive sessions of trading in the green last week, with a shortened trading week ahead for Wall Street. Volume reached 776.16 million shares, amounting to 6.24 billion pesos. Decliners led advancers at 97 to 87, while 40 shares were unchanged. Similarly, risk-off sentiments affected the local currency, but the peso managed to end the day sideways against the US dollar at 57.36 from 57.26 last Friday. It opened the day at 57.2, better than its 57.44 start in the previous session. That wraps up the stories tonight. Catch us again tomorrow at 9:30 p.m. only here at Daily Tribune's Facebook page. Again, this is Elmer Navarro Manuel, and you're watching Tribune News on Q. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay at home. Good night, and God bless us all.
We would like to thank the following: Araneta, Pag-ibig, SM Supermall, Veteran, Divina Law Offices, ICTSI, Xlog, Globe, Kia, PLDT, Cherry, Tanawan, Prime Homes, RLC, Pure Gold, Meralco, and SM Retail.
Catch the latest news on our website, tribune.net.ph. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Tribune Now. Download the Daily Tribune app on Apple Store for iOS and Google Play for Android to get the latest and most comprehensive news online. Daily Tribune invites you to join its Viber community, Katribu, to get updates on the hottest news on politics, business, sports, lifestyle, and entertainment. Emoticons of the Tribune mascot Tercito are available on our community Viber.
Come take my hands. You told me when this happened. Come take my hands. You just told me when this started. Cause with you make simple things complicated. Yes, you made me feel unappreciated. You don't look at me that way, thinking you will stay. Don't give me hope, don't give me hope. You back and hold me tight, and together we will fight. Oh, but you leaving. How sweetie, you make simple things complicated. Yes,